Hi everyone, it's Karen from Inspired by Graham, and I am located in Sharon, Vermont in the US. And for 2026, this is my second craft fair video for the year, and I'm going through my closet and just trying to mass produce everything that I have left, in my closet that's been in there for a few years. So I'm also creating or restocking items that sold very well. And I know a lot of you have been waiting for this video, and I did make a video of this project a while back. I think it was in 2020 or 2019, so it's quite old, and I wanted to bring this back to you, and I'm using a different size sticky note. The sentiments I'm choosing are all from retired stamp sets, but there are stamp sets that I really like working with, and the sentiment works really nicely in a 1-inch circle. So they are hello, hope, K is for kindness, love, you make me smile, bravo, and just this little design. The two, or no, I think there's three. These on the bottom are new words that I'm using for my inventory this year. I know K for kindness really does sell a lot, so I'll be really stocking up on that sentiment. So I've done a lot of stuff. I created 165, and they're all posted on my Facebook page, which is Inspired by Graham. And I have a lot of leftovers here that I like to keep, because if I say I run out and I sold all 165 in one craft fair, well, then I've got a head start on making some more. And I always have a lot of these on stock, because these catch the eye of people walking by your booth. And I can just tell you, I participated in 3 craft fairs last year, and this is how it sold. So the first one, I sold 12, and that was in early November craft fair. And then number 2, that was 2 weeks after. Actually, no, it was the Saturday after Christmas, and I sold 100. And then the third craft fair was the first Saturday or second Saturday in December, and I sold 67. So in 3 craft fairs, I sold 179. They are sold $1 each, or 6 for $5. So I always have a little discounted price in there for my customers. So if you're not familiar with these, they're really super cute. They use the mini sticky notes, and I have a Velcro in there. Some of these I've used the 3/8 inch circles, which are Velcros. These are the crafting Velcros. And then I'm using 5/8 of an inch circles, and those are Velcro as well. I'm just trying to use up what I have in my closet, and both sizes work. The smaller one is just a little bit less sticky because there's less room there for it to stick to, but it certainly does work, and it does its job. So let me just see if I have another one that's a 5/8. Here's another one that's a 5/8. It's also crafting style because they're super thin. And hopefully you can see that circle right there. And then there's other Velcros, I don't know if I have any here, that have that more of a fluffy feel to it. I'm going to be working with this style here, but it doesn't look like I have any. I really like the thinner ones because there's less height in there. So if you're going to make these, I highly suggest the thin Velcros. So let me just put this all back in here in my little bin here. And at the very end, I'm going to show you how I store them and sell them. So I learned something from a little girl that I saw at my booth last year, and how she was organizing my mini sticky notes. And after that, they were just like selling like hotcakes. Okay, so the products that I used for this project, I do some stamping, so I'm using the Stampin' Up Blackberry Bliss color. And then I have a bone folder here. I also am using Stampin' Seal Plus, and we do sell this as regular and plus. I'm using the plus version. I have my Angel Policy stamp that has Stampin' Up! Copyright on it. And then I have some random stamps over here that come from all retired stamp sets. You might have these in your stock. And it's A Dozen Thoughts, A Round Array, A Touch of Ink, and then this one is Let's Create Together. There's a little Stampin' Up! Little Angel Policy stamp in there, so I'm grabbing that one because it fits nicely on the mini sticky notes. This Let's Create Together is a Demonstrator only stamp set, and I don't even know if it's even available anymore as a supply item. I don't really think it is, but I grabbed it a couple years ago, so probably it's really not. I've got a 1-inch circle punch and a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. Both again are retired, but I keep all my circle punches in my stock. I also have a silicone craft sheet. This is a must on your work surface when you're doing this project. Let me just tell you that. My Velcros are just random in a bag here. And then I have some designer paper. I'm going to be using this pattern, and I chose directional so I can show you how to use directional, but even non-directional doesn't really matter which way you put your paper into your trimmer. I also have my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which is great because it's got a cutting blade and a scoring blade all in one. So it makes it super easy just to move back and forth from the blades. I've got some Blackberry Bliss cardstock. This is just from my scrap bin, along with some basic white cardstock, again from my scrap bin. Now the mini sticky notes, I get lots of questions on this. Where did I purchase them from? Well, I'm not sponsored in any way, and I get them from OfficeSupply.com. OfficeSupply.com. These were $2. Let me see. I have a note over here how much these cost. Let's see. Mini sticky notes, pastel color. They're 1 1/2 inch by 200 sheets, 12 per pack. They're $2.29. So for each sticky note, it's 19 cents a piece. I need to add in my Vermont sales tax, so that means it's 14 cents per pack. So then you just kind of divide it all in. So it's not very expensive. I found these are the cheapest ones I can find. I even checked Amazon and I could not find any cheaper whatsoever. And I also want to let you know there's 2 different sized sticky notes, the minis. There's 1 7/8 by 1 3/8 and 1 1/2 by 2. I used to use this size, the 1 7/8, but I am moving over to the 1 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And that's because I can maximize my designer series paper a little bit easier. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut our paper. And let me just move some of these things out of the way so I have a little bit more room. And then I'm going to tell you all of the scoring locations that you want to have when you're using the 1 1/2 inch by 2. So I've got a piece of designer series paper. This is Floral Charm, and it's still available. It's $12.50 per pack. If you're a demonstrator, you get 20 to 25% off that retail price. And it's still available. I did just check inventory right before coming on here with the tutorial video. Every single pattern in this pack works nicely. So if you're looking for some designer paper, then this one I would say would work. I use like lots of retired designer series paper. I know we all have pattern paper stocked up in our craft room, so I try to use up what I have before I break into a new pack. I just had 1 sheet left of this, so I grabbed this because it's current. So as you can see, it's directional. So I've got the top up here. So when you put it in your trimmer, you want to turn it to the left side, so it's facing this way. And the first couple score lines are the hardest because you don't have much to work with on room. But the first score line, and you want to be right on the line here. Make sure you're looking all the way down, okay? And let me see if I can move my trimmer up just a little bit so you can see the entire trimmer. So the first score line is 1 1/4 inch. So I got to move that cutting blade out of the way because I don't want it to cut my paper. Also, another thing you need to know is designer series paper is much thinner than our cardstock. So you can't really go with a really deep penetrating burnish or score line because it's going to rip right through your paper. So what I do is I just give it a little bit of a push and go up and down 2 times. So 1 1/4. And then we're going to move down to 1 5/8 inches. And that's 2 tick marks to the left side of 1 1/2. So we're going to slide this over. And again, this paper up here is really flush. I'm going to look down here at this mark here to make sure it's at 1 5/8 because you want a straight score line. Again, very light touch. And I go back and forth 2 times. Now I'm going to slide all the way over to 3 1/8, which is 2 tick marks to the left side of 3 inches. Line it up really nicely, looking up here and all the way down. Oops, let me do that again. It kind of moved out of the way. Get in there. Okay, so we're on both 1/8 inch of a 1/8. Okay, and then we're going to 3 1/2, and that's easy. So then we will score this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it to 4 1/2 inches, and I'm going to make a cut. And there's 1 strip. But hold on, we can get another strip out of this designer paper. So we're going to do that again. And let's get that cutting blade out of the way. And we're going to score it 1 1/4. 1 5/8, 3 1/8, and 3 1/2. And then we're going to slide it to 4 1/2, and we're going to make our cut line. Okay, so we're going to put those aside. Now you're going to say, what am I going to use with this? Well, I'm going to use this on my next project, which will be my little 3x3 sticky notes that I make with a pen slot holder. So that will be my next video. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to use it for that project. All right, we're done with the trimmer for right now. Now we're going to score. And I think it's best to do, or not score, we're going to fold and burnish. I think it's best to do this right now because it's going to be a little bit easier to do or cut in your trimmer afterwards. So we're going to just take that bone folder. We fold carefully on each score line. I like to use my fingers for that first kind of burnish, and then I'll use my bone folder up and back. You want really crisp lines so you can see them. And then we're going to do that other side. And then the other line. And then I'm just going to kind of flatten this out and set it over on top of my trimmer. We'll do the same thing with the second half of that 12 by 12. When I made those 165 mini sticky notes, I did not do that all in one day. I had to fit it into my schedule. So last night, I was able to get half of them completely done, and then this morning I finished it up. So now I can bring you that video. Okay, we're going to bring in our trimmer once again, and to save time, what I do is, and you don't have to do it this way, you can do it one at a time, but I line up my edges and I cut both sheets at the same time. You just got to be really careful about keeping everything exact when you do this. So really, before I make that cut, and I'm making a cut at 2 inches, I'm making sure that I know that's all the way up there. So I just go up and back, and that simply makes your cut. And then we'll do the same thing. So that's 4 holders, 6, 8, 10, and this last one, because of how you put it in the trimmer, you might be off a little bit. Most likely will not be at 2 inches, because that's what I found. So if I put these two together, I can see if they're a little bit short. And this one is a little bit short by a 1/16 of an inch, but I'm going to tell you that matters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if these two will fit on the 1 7/8 of an inch. We'll do that at the end. And I don't think the score lines are going to be right, but I'm going to see if they'll work. So I've got a bunch of those strips that hopefully I can work with. We are all done with our trimmer. So what I also do is I stack them going the same way, because this is directional paper. Let's see. Okay, so they all should be hopefully correct. If not, then that's okay. We can figure it out. All right, I'm going to bring in my punches now, and I've got some random scraps here. I always have to have a bucket in front of me because they usually will fly all over the place, and to save time, I hope they land in there rather than having to find them on my desk. So we're going to punch out 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I want to finish it off just in case my stamping isn't great. I can have a few extra, and if I don't use them, they go in my little bin here for future mini sticky notes. So that should be good for today. And then I'm going to bring in my 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and I need at least 12 of these, and these are just scrap pieces of Blackberry Bliss, and see how they go flying everywhere. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, ooh, can't get one out of there, 11, 12, and 13. I'm gonna continue on just to finish up this piece of scrap. And there I have a few extras for future use. Make sure you have a little bucket of like a can, like I have my Stampin' storage kind of trash bucket handy. It will save you in the long run for sure. All right, these will get stamped next, and I'm not going to use all of the stamp sets. It will just take too long. So I'm just going to take the stamp that says Bravo. I didn't use that one last year, so I want to give it a try this year. So then what I do is I get all of my white circles in front of me, even the extra ones, because that way I'm building up my inventory of little circles here with sentiments. And if I always find myself really busy during the craft fair season, and this is something I don't really want to be doing if I don't have to be doing. So that's why I do a few extra. We're going to use Blackberry Bliss, and this, if you follow me, Blackberry Bliss is a challenging color for me because it takes a while for it to dry for some reason, but it goes with the paper, the cardstock, and the designer series paper. So that's why I chose it. And it's also a dark color, so you can see the sentiment really nicely when you are at my craft fair booth. I had one lady when I was at my the second craft fair. She came by my booth. It was a 2-day craft fair, so she came by Saturday and she was looking at what I had. And then she came to me on Sunday morning before it opened up to the public, and she asked me if I had 60 of these that she could purchase, because she was a principal of a local school and she wanted to give them out to staff. So I had 60, more than 60, but so that's a reason why. Oh, see, it's kind of like, I can't use that one. That's like a reject. So I'm going to stamp on the other side. So you just never know when you are going to get that big order. So always make sure you have some in stock. Now, she was specific to what she wanted for sentiments. So they were more like Bravo would be a good one. She also liked the one that says... you make me smile, and also K is for kindness. There was one other one I used last year as well. I just don't know where it is. So hopefully I'll find it eventually. Okay, so these are all done. It's just kind of, hopefully they'll dry enough because I'm going to be adhering them next. We're done with that ink. Oh no, we're not done with that ink. Let's move these over here. It gives them a little extra time. Now I sell these, so that angel policy needs to be stamped on here. So where I would put it is probably, let's see, where do I put it? So you're going to open it up. I'm going to put it right here. It's stamped on here. It's kind of out of sight, but not so much. So I need to have this on here, and this is where I stamp it. You can stamp it wherever you want to do, but this is the area where I stamp the Stampin' Up! Copyright logo. If you want more information on that angel policy, you can go to my website, inspiredbygraham.com, and hit the Shop Now button, and then it brings you to the Stampin' Up! Website. And you can just search angel policy and it should come up, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do if you're selling Stampin' Up! Products for, using the products to make craft fair items. Okay, so that is all done. I'm abiding by that rule. Now these should be dry, and I'm going to bring them in on my craft mat here. Make sure that was the good side. This one too, let me just double check. I think that's a little smushy on those words. So I like to do the same thing over and over again, and then move on to the next step. So right here, it's kind of like a lot of circles in the picture here. But I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm going to prep these with adhesive on the back side. And then I pick it up with my Seal Plus and move it over here and unstick it. That way I know, I know that these are done. And hopefully your adhesive doesn't do what I just did. right, let's get some good, okay, there we go. So basically I do 2 lines of adhesive and move it over out of the way with my adhesive holder. So I'm gonna turn off the camera and I'll come back to you once these are all done. Okay, I have them all done and they all have adhesive on the back side. Now what we're gonna do is adhere them to the Blackberry Bliss circle. So what I do is I kind of slide this over. I try to do this as fast as we can because we don't want to be doing this like forever. We want this item to be able to get done as quick as we can, but as nice as we can make it. So I'm just going to adhere these 2 together. All right, so I'll turn the camera off and then come back to you. Okay, so I have all of my circles stuck together and they're really just going to be, I'm going to just set them out of the way here and we're going to move into the sticky notes here. So I find the best way to open up these packages are with my scissors, and I go to the end here and I just kind of cut up to the corners because sometimes this plastic just doesn't want to open up. Okay, so now we're going to, what I do is I like to sort my colors just because it's going to be easier in the long run. Because again, when I did this, I was mass producing 165. So this paper may not go with all of them. So technically I would not put the blue on here, but these 3 colors would work. So I'm going to save these for another time. But if I was like in desperate mode, I wouldn't care if that blue's on here. I may end up doing it just so I have them done. All right, we're going to take these and we need to add tear and tape adhesive on the back side. You need a really strong adhesive. I like to use tear and tape just because I think it is a little bit easier to work with. And I have a ton of it, and that's why I want to use it as well. I have lots of leftover kits from my in-person classes, so I get this all the time. All I do is I run 2 lines of adhesive. Doesn't have to be straight as long as it's on there. And I'm pushing it over here. These are the little things that will save you time in the long run. Oops, that one. It's okay. I'm going to show you how to fix that. But just little simple things that you might not think of, like how I'm doing this, placing them over there will save you time again in the long run. And I'll keep going in the video to show you all that. I think adding this tear and tape also is a little bit quicker than your Seal Plus. And again, I have a ton of this, so I need to get rid of it. Like I said, I'm going to clean up that closet by the end of this year. So probably you're going to get a lot of videos because I have a lot of stuff in there. Stuff that I probably brought with me when we moved here over 9 years ago. Okay, that's all done. See how quick and easy that was? Now with tear and tape adhesive, I want to make sure that that is really stuck down. So I just take my bone folder and I just go back and forth on it. And again, I'm moving these over and keeping the tape facing me. Just getting them out of the way so we have a lot of room to work with. Definitely stay organized when you're mass producing anything. Okay, now that we have this done, and I'm working on 12 of them, I'm going to take each one and the adhesive is going to get taken off. I'm going to move this because sliding it around on paper is a lot easier. And I have a little bin over here where I'm putting all of my garbage. So it makes it super easy. I just pick it up, move my left arm over to the side there, drop it in, and come back. Now this is the one that I went a little bit too far with the tear and tape, but don't worry about it because we can take this off, hopefully. And then I'm going to take it and fold it back on top of the back side. Somehow I have fingernails again, so normally I would be using my piercing tool to take the backing off, but somehow, some way, they're not broken. Okay, that's done. Now our next part is we're going to figure out which score line we need to use. And if you notice, hopefully you can see my score lines, we have a shorter side here and a longer at the bottom. This is going to be my top. So what I'll do, I'm keeping it on the left because I'm right-handed. And my next step is just to gently fan these so I know that they're going the correct way. And I line it up with that bottom score line, just like that. And then I'll fold it up, flip it over, and put it over here. Okay, I'll do that slow for you once again. So again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oops. Hopefully there's not much shadow there. Let me just bring it out just a little. Okay, so again, the second score line down from the shorter top, we got to fan it out, make sure it's going correctly. I just line it up with that score line. Fold it over, upside down. So I'll do a couple more of these and then I'll finish the rest off camera. Fold. Oh shoot, I didn't do that one right. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Was not thinking on that one. So again, find that short side, come down on the second score line, line it up right to the score line, fold over, bottom, top, and then set aside. And there's a reason why we're setting it aside. We'll just keep that flow going. Okay, I'm going to finish up this one and then I'll come back to you and we will be doing our next step. Okay, we are on the next step and we are going to burnish the back side of these to make sure that adhesive is really stuck. So we're going to take the ones at the top and we're going to rotate them. And we're just going to go back and forth a few times. And then they're just going to get put over to the side once we're done. Okay, now we're going to adhere the little circles. To do that, we want to bring in our piercing mat once again, and we're going to bring in our circles. And what I do is I kind of put the sentiments in front of me. Now these are all stamped Bravo, but normally what I do is I'll stamp about 50 of these, 50 of the next one in different primary colors. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that we like. It doesn't necessarily have to match 100% is what I want to say. I've got some stamped with pumpkin pie on Calypso Coral cardstock, and that's a nice little orange color, and I don't think it's gonna matter. The next thing is we're gonna turn this over, and you notice Bravo is going to be to my pointing this way. And I usually put my fingers right here because I only want adhesive on half of it. So I just kind of go like that. Oh wait, I didn't put my Velcro circles on. Okay, well that's okay. We can prep these and then we'll do the Velcros next. So again, I use my Seal Plus to pick them up and I push them over to the area out of the way. And if you have your words all going the same way, you don't really have to think about where the sentiment is and what direction it's going on the front side. You can just pick it up, turn it over, and add your adhesive. And I'm doing 2 lines of the Seal Plus. Okay, that's done. Now let's grab our Velcro. And this is just random Velcro that I have left. Gotta get some more. And some of them are together and some are not. So basically we call it the male and female side, I guess. And then here's the single sheet. I like to work with the single sheets. And the reason why is I want to line these up as best as I can, and I'm only focused really on that. There's a lot of glare here. Let me just bring it. I gotta just kind of bring it so I can see it a little bit better. I'm kind of focusing on that first little row over here. Actually, no, that's not gonna work. Sometimes they don't line up perfectly and you have to just kind of jerry rig it a little bit, but we'll try this. So I've got them stuck together and now I'm gonna cut down. These get set aside out of the way, and now I'm going to carefully pull off one of these clear sides, just carefully. This is a silicone craft sheet, so nothing will stick to it. And then I'm going to pull off the back side. We'll bring in our sticky note. I'm going to, and these kind of pull off. So if you hold one of those, it's probably going to stick to your finger. That's okay. And that's kind of how I do it. We're going to put those down. And if you have to move it a little bit because it's not lined up, now's the time to do it. Make sure it's all nice and straight. And then we're going to fold that over tight, and then we're going to press it. And then there's your little Velcro. Okay. The key is making sure that this is on your paper solid. Okay. We don't want that coming off. I really press down with my thumb a lot. So let me do that again. I'll do the next 4 with you, and then I'll do the rest off camera. So again, I'm going to pull those off. Oh boy. It's hard on camera, you guys, because normally I just do it. But nothing works on when you're videotaping. Okay, again, I'm going to stick it on there. Look at my Velcro, both of them, Velcro circles. And if I have to move it slightly, now is the time to do it. So they're all lined up. This is up tight. Pull it over, and bam, you're done. Big thing is line up your sides as well. So let me just do Let's see, those two are done. Again, open it up. You can also flap your sticky notes too, just to make sure, like another check to make sure they're in there right. And if they're not, you can still turn them around and just put this side on top. It will be a little bit longer, but you can always trim it off, or you can just stick it down normally. It's like you need a third hand when you're doing this. Press down, pull that one up because I can tell it's not 100%. Move it in place and then fold over, really press, test it, and it's good. And it's over here in the done pile. All right, we'll do one more together and then I'll do the rest off camera. Press and kind of squish, test. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest off camera and then I'll be back. Okay, we're back to you. One other thing that I wanted to say is when you're adhering the Velcro, you do not want it shown on the front side. So make sure you get it up close enough. It'll be just a little bit of a border there, and that way it won't be shown. Okay, since we already have adhesive on these circles, I like to just pick them up with my finger, and then we're going to adhere them. And what I look at is the word, because I know that adhesive is only on this side of that word. And I press it down real good. I test it, make sure it all works. And then, oops, this one got covered up, but our Stampin' Up logo is there. I think I stamped them all wrong, unfortunately. So let me just show you where it should have been stamped. You probably could stamp it like right here in between that score line. It would look really good, or you can just stamp it right here. What I'll do is I'll go back and restamp these so it is visible. You just need to make it visible. Again, we're going to test and then stick it back together. If your adhesive is longer than the cardstock, just fold it back on itself. When you're going fast, like I was going fast with that adhesive, sometimes it doesn't get, you know, it doesn't come off where it should come off, like this one here. Usually you can see it because it's shiny. But see how fast this is once you get everything going? I'm almost done. And I don't know how long the video is going for, probably a little over half an hour. And then we got these done. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I have the other ones over here that I need more designer paper for. So we were able to do 10, and that's not too bad. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the ones that I have made, and then I'm going to show you how I display them in my booth. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so you can see this little cute box that I found. I'm not exactly sure where I found it. It could be Michael's, but I'm really not sure. I'm pretty sure, I think he did, but I'm really not. But there is a sticker on it, and it's on the back side here. It says licensed to Tri-Coastal Design by the New York Graphic Society and Phoenix Art Group, made in China. And there is a website. It says tricoastaldesign.com. So if you're looking maybe to store your sticky notes this way, then that's where you might want to try, or try your local Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Okay, so it's a little suitcase basically is what it is. It's got a nice little handle on it. So at the end of the craft fair, whatever is not sold, I can just close this up and put it in my box. It's super easy to work with. Now, you can also store, if you don't have something like this, you don't want to go out and buy it. I have in the past used plastic bowls and then just dumped everything in the bowl. And then they're all just kind of mixed and just all mixed up. So that little girl that was in my booth, I was watching her, and I'm going to show you what she did to my little box. There was only maybe a quarter left, but what she did made so much sense, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so here is the finished product, and the girl, what she did, I had these all mixed in no particular order. They were just dumped in here. What she did was, there was only a quarter of the box left, but she put them all in the same, like all the bravos, all the hopes, all the kindness, love, you make me smile, generic, and mix and match over there, all in like the same area. So all someone had to do is just pick them up like this and then put them in their little bag to bring them to me. So you might want to try this. Honestly, I really like this, and I think I will sell a lot more this way because people can see the words. Over here is just the mix of the ones that I don't really have a lot of. You can see Bravo's got the most, Hope is second, Kindness. So this also tells me when I get home and I reorganize this box, it's going to tell me what I need to stamp next, because I could be left with a bunch of Bravos, but the Kindness is like gone. So I know I would need to make more of the Kindnesses, or K is for Kindness. So I also take my price information and I will stick it over here as well so people can see it, and this will get lifted up, and something is usually, it's propped up is basically what I do with it, so it's not just folded down out of the way. So that's how I do it. And then at the end of the craft fair, any empty space here, I put bubble wrap in here, or it will be tissue paper, anything, so that this is really tight and organized and it just doesn't get all mixed up. So another tip for you. So the next thing I'm gonna check is, do you remember those 1 7/8 by 1 3/8 sticky notes there that I had 1 pack of? And this was the last row that we cut. And I'm going to see, I have no clue if they're going to work or not, but let's just check it out. I'll line it up here. I like it because it's got a little, like a 1/16 of an inch on both sides. So you might want this 1 7/8. Oh, guess what? Oh my gosh, it works, you guys. Perfect. I can't believe it. So now what I'll do is I'm going to make 12 more plus my other 2, and I'm going to, fill it up with probably more of the loves and the K for Kindness. So perfect. So this little holder works for either size. All right. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this project. Do you do it? Do you do it a little differently? Also, I will have on my email list, I will have a link where you can order these through me today. So I will have them grouped by category. So if you just want Bravo, you want 20 of them, I can just ship them out. They will be assorted. I'm not going to be able to color code them or anything like that. That would take way too much time. But this is another thing that I'm going to start offering for 2026 is craft fairs online. And doesn't that sound great? Because I need to sell these, and if I can sell them online, do I really need to go to craft fair? So, but of course I will, but I might just to get my name out there. But anyway, I think it's going to be a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Let me know if it's something that you would like. Again, I would still offer, the deal of 5 or 6 for $5. Basically, it would be $1 each for every one. And then if you ordered 12 of these, well, I would send you 10 so you get 2 free. So you'll get 12, but it will only cost you $10. Hopefully that makes sense. Because there's no way I can put it in there with a discount. I'm going to use a PayPal link and they don't offer that. So I think that's the best way we can do it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this craft fair video. And my next one will be those 3x3 sticky notes. And I made some of them late last year. You might remember this. I'm going to go through this tutorial again just to make it in 2026. Again, I'm showing you everything that I'll be using for 2026 and selling in my craft fair this year, and also online as well. All right, you guys, take care, and I hope you have a great day. And thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate you.